No forecast, no prediction you're going to make is going to be perfect. Adopting and learning from that failure is so critical. So, how do you recommend teams conduct postmortems or leverage the data that they're going to glean from the mistakes of missed forecasts in order to improve their future accuracy?
Have the conversations. People ignore not having the bad conversations or they just talk about the bad stuff. So it's reviewing in those postmortems, review the data. Where was it wrong? What was the assumptions that we had? Was it misaligned? I'll give an example the first quarter. And again, this is more of Salesforce adoption and getting people to follow a new process because we implemented an entirely new sales process. So they actually had to follow stages and requirements and these things. We were off our forecast by like $8 million. Like, I hit the end of the quarter and I was like, "How?" But again, it goes back to the process, accountability, making sure everybody is on the same ship as you, and then going back and giving the feedback. So if you have your key people that you're like, "Okay, I noticed that this is going on," having those conversations, but then also what I realized is a lot of people don't always know what this means, but they're scared to ask those questions. If we're talking about it's a quarterly forecast or a monthly forecast and we're talking all this corporate jargon to people that maybe are not in that corporate world, I had one that said, "Well, what does quarterly mean?" Which is interesting. But this happens because, again, in my industry right now, they're not business people, they're not salespeople in that retrospect. They're SMEs for things. So I think it's getting people to understand those definitions. Like you said, speak that language to understand why it's important. Why are we doing this? Why is it important? How does it affect your job? How does it affect the business? And those are those postmortem missed forecast calls. And some of it is difficult, but I do think that if you're setting up those regular cadences, you're having those pipeline and forecast meetings, you're sending out those automated reports to tell people like, "Hey, this is overdue, move it. Is it open? Is it closed?" You have some accountability and somebody actually monitoring that stuff. That's kind of where it gets better.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I agree. I think the best thing you could do is learn from mistakes, learn from failure to improve on